Hi, I'm Nancy. Welcome to Mindful Yoga. Today, our main theme is the hips, stretching them, exploring the range of motion of our hips, and also strengthening the muscles around the hips, joints, and the hips themselves. Also, we're talking about the power of flow, flow within the body, flow around us, and the connection between those. So let's have a seat where we can. You could be on a chair in this part, or you could, that's another thing I should say. Today you need a chair, and it's best if it's a chair without arms. We'll get to that in the latter part of the practice. We're going to start lying down, and then we're going to be on our tummies, prone, and then we're going to go to the chair. So that's the progression for today. And now, becoming quiet, arriving onto the mat, attending to the breath. Feeling the breath as it flows into the nostrils, down through the bronchial tubes, into all the corners of the lungs, these little sacs where it makes its way into the bloodstream. Can you feel the flow of power with the blood and oxygen as it goes around the organs and in between the organs? Encouraged by the deeper breathing that we're doing right now, opening lower, mid, and upper lungs. Perhaps you can feel some tingling down through the thighs and the lower calves, down into ankles and feet, and even into toes. The flow of power up through the neck, into eyes and ears, nose and mouth, even teeth. Into the brain, left and right, front, middle, and back. Down into the brain stem, the neck and shoulders, and tops of the arms, the forearms, and those very sensitive palms, where we can feel the tingling of the blood, and the fingers. Rivers of power flowing everywhere, fields of magnetism relating everything. The current of creation is right here, coursing through subtle channels, animating this very form. One more nice long breath. And then coming down to lie on the mat, on your back, putting props aside. And coming down onto your back, letting your head and shoulders rest back, and bringing one leg up towards the ceiling. We'll do this one leg for a while here, letting the ankle turn, because we're well aware that what ankle can do and knee can do influences what hip can do, and vice versa, around the opposite direction. Then hug that knee into the chest. Bring the knee over to the armpit. Then bring it back to middle. And then over to the armpit. You're still lying down. Over to middle, to armpit. And one more time, back and forth. Let the mind's eye go towards the hip joint, feeling it there. Then bring the leg up straight again and let it stretch out to the same side as that leg, giving it some support. My elbows on the floor with my hand underneath the thigh, just above the knee. Just letting it hang out there with some support, respecting that range of motion in the hip, and yet giving it some ability to go a little farther if it wants to, but not straining, never straining, backing up from anything that causes any pain. Coming up with leg straight up, bring the leg over the midline, just an inch or two, and if you want to, turn the sole of the foot towards the opposite wall. Then stretching that legs out again, the end to the same side as the leg. Now we're going to bring the leg all the way across, let the hips turn, and that leg might just hang out there, or the foot might come down to the floor. And you can just kind of feel your hip and the hip joint, that ball and socket joint, the muscles all around it, lots of muscles connecting right there, tendons and ligaments, and bring it back. And now we're going to bring the leg straight up and circle, small circle up above you as if you're drawing a circle on the ceiling. Let that circle become a little bigger. And then coming back to middle and going the opposite direction. Small circle, again, let the mind's eye go to the hip joint. That ball in the hip joint and socket, having fun down there. And again, being careful, modifying, always modifying for what your particular hip, in this case, needs. And bring it back to center. Then bring that knee again to the chest. Bring it over to the armpit. Let the foot come up, just one foot up, and hand comes to some point on ankle or shin, or up on the bottom of the foot, and then gently pushing up. So here we're, by pushing up a little bit, we're opening up, particularly the hamstrings, but very gently, because we don't want to give too much tear to, we don't want to give any tear to the tendons connecting the hamstring and on up into the pelvic bowl. Now we're going to come into a figure four. So the other leg comes up with a bent knee to support this leg we're working on, and the leg we're working on is in a figure four, ankle above the knee of the other leg. Give that leg, supporting leg, some support with your hands. And let's just be here for a minute, coming back to the breath, allowing that piriformis muscle that attaches around the hip joint and then over to the lumbar spine, allowing it to relax with your breathing, with that flow of power in the blood, in the lymph, in the interstitial area between the cells. And then letting that go, we're going to bring the leg straight up in the air and then slowly let it come down, controlling it onto the mat, and then lifting up and letting it come down. And breath can go along with this if you wish. Always feeling the hip joint, the muscles around the hip. One last time. Some strengthening here of the quad muscle in the front of the hip, in front of the thigh. And now we are going to do the other leg. So bring the other leg up, point it up towards the ceiling, and turn the ankle. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And round the opposite direction. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Give it a hug to the chest. Then bring it over, that knee over towards the armpit. back to the middle of the chest, over to the armpit. Let your mind's eye go towards your hip socket and feel what's happening down there. Then let the leg come up straight once again. And let that leg come out to the side, on the same side as that leg, giving it some support with your arm underneath, so it doesn't just hang there. And you're exploring here. What's my range of motion? I had one guy come over, he's a friend who's in his 40s, and his leg went all the way over to the floor. My leg does not do that, and I imagine yours doesn't either. So always respecting that amount of range of motion. Then bringing the leg straight up and across midline, just an inch or so, turning the foot, if you like, towards the opposite wall. Then return the leg back over to that open position to the side. Now we're going to bring that leg all the way across and let the hip turn as the foot hovers or comes down onto the floor. And then just giving a little bit of massage, just a very gentle rubbing of the side of the hip there, and maybe the glute a bit. Just letting it know it's getting some nice attention. Then coming back from that, we're going to bring the leg straight up and we're going to circle, starting with a small circle and slowly getting larger, drawing a circle on the ceiling. Mind's eye in the hip joint. Coming back through center, opposite direction. Let this be a little bit of a self-diagnosis too. How does it feel? No judgment, just how does it feel? Are there any hiccup places? Are there any places that you would like to pause? And then bringing it back through center. Bring that knee back to the middle of the chest, over to the armpit. Foot rises into happy baby. And then gently pushing up. And my knee never straightens here. It's just a gentle opening of the back of the leg. I can feel my hamstring saying, well, okay. This is okay up to a point. I don't want too much. And then we're going to come into a figure 4, raising that other leg for support, giving that leg support with your hands, giving a nice relaxing stretch to the piriformis muscle that runs kind of horizontally between the area of the hip socket and over to the lumbar spine down there. Breathing with this, allowing that to relax. One more breath. Then lift that leg again up towards the ceiling and let it lower slowly down to the mat. Bring it up slowly. Lower down. Lift it up. Lower down. And last lift. Now bend that knee and bring the other knee up to meet it, so both knees are bent above the hips. Arms are out to a T on both sides. Let the knees come over to about 45 degrees on one side. Inhale up towards center, and then other side over to about 45 degrees. Just slowly rolling across the sacrum in the back as the knees dip over to one side and then the other. Perhaps feeling a stretch all the way from the hip to the armpit, maybe even out to the fingers. This is a nice opener for both hips and the top of the body. One more time to each side. Now we're going to bring head and shoulders up as the knees bend back and the feet come back towards the groin. Hands come around ankles, or maybe they come around feet, or maybe around both feet. Just see what works for you. Head and shoulders are raised. The arms become like cables between the feet and the shoulders, and the feet and legs are pushing down towards the bottom of the mat. Release. Let the head come back. If you feel the need to give a little bit of massage underneath the skull there in the back of the neck, please do. Relax through the jaw. Somehow I felt that right then. And then again, head and shoulders rise, and knees are open. Feet and legs are pulling down. Hands are around some part of legs, lower legs, or feet. For 3, 2, and 1. Now let the head and shoulders come back. Relax through the jaw and the tongue and the teeth and the back of the neck. Bring the soles of the feet together. If you need something underneath your knees here, we won't be here for too long, but sometimes pillows can feel good underneath there. So this itself is a nice stretch for the hips, just to lie here like this. We're now going to push the feet together and inhale with the hips down. Then exhale with the hips rising just an inch or two. Exhale. Inhale, hips down. Exhale, hips rise slightly. Inhale, down. Exhale, push the feet together. Inhale, rise slightly. If this causes pain or problems, please just lay off, don't do it. And come down. And one more time, press the feet together. Exhale as you raise the hips an inch or so. And bring it down. Now let the legs come out straight. Arms come up above the head. One hand takes one wrist. Push down through that heel and lift up through the wrist, making yourself real long down the side of that body, feeling it through the organs, through the pelvic bowl and the leg, the arm, and then coming to the other side, enjoying that stretch on this side. Then arms come along the side, feet come to the mat with knees bent. And we're going to do a pelvic curl. So the small of the back will come down towards the mat. And then the small of the back just rises to its natural position. So going back and forth as the hips tilt one way and then the other. If it's possible, let the muscles that you're using be the muscles of the pelvic floor and the lower abdominal muscles, transverse abdominis. So bringing your attention there to that pelvic floor area as the hips tilt back and forth and the small of the back rises slightly and then goes down towards the mat. This can be a very restful exercise for the hips. Now letting that pause, cross one thigh over the other thigh, lift the legs and bring them back just gently towards the chest. And we'll just be like this today. We won't do any more with this. Bring your attention to the top leg's hip joint of the top leg, just feeling what it's feeling. No judgment, just doing a little self-diagnosis. Unravel the legs, and then the other thigh comes over the leg. Bring the knees towards the chest. Just resting there for a moment, letting the hip enjoy or experiment with the feeling of that kind of turn over to the interior of the hip. And then coming back with both feet on the floor, we're going to come into a bridge pose. Press the feet into the floor, arms are along the side, shoulder blades are coming in, so wiggle the shoulder blades in underneath as the hips come up. Elbows come in a little bit too. Fingers can interlace underneath the hips as hips rise just in line with the knees and the shoulders. So you've just got a nice line between knees and shoulders. Pulling a little bit from the knees into the hips themselves. Whole back of the body, supporting the front of the body. Good exercise for the hips, for the glutes, for the muscles along the spine and the hamstring muscles for 3, 2, and 1. And bring it down. Now, lying flat with legs extended, we're just going to squeeze our glutes. So you're lying flat, legs extended, and just squeeze your glutes underneath you for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Strong glutes, an important aspect of healthy hips. And now bringing yourself up, perhaps with elbows, hands, up to a sitting position. We're going to come into up plank. Feet are kind of wide on the mat with knees bent, hands just behind the hips with fingers coming forward, lifting so that the feet and the hands are bearing the weight here. And if you have trouble with wrists, yes, you can be on your forearms. It's a little difficult. You can be on your elbows, or you could be on fists. And then your hips might rise up, so you have kind of a tabletop. Glutes are strong here. Chest is open. Hips getting a nice extension from shoulders down through knees for 3, 2, and 1. And bring it down. Then kind of the opposite, we're coming into up boat. Feet are on the floor. There's a mild V in your knees. Hands are behind the thighs, just above the knees. And there's a little leaning back of the torso with an openness of the collarbone area, shoulder blades coming down a bit. Coming back on the soft tissue behind the sits bones, letting the feet rise. Staying here if you'd like with that support from the hands, or bringing the hands out to the side with palms up. If you do that, you'll become more aware of the exercise you're giving to the quad muscles here in the front of the thighs and the lower abdominal muscles. All muscles important to the support of the hips. For 3, 2, and 1. And bring it down. Now we're going to come over to our side. Have your forearm right under the shoulder, and knees are mildly bent, stacked on top of each other. Bring the hand in a soft fist across the chest to the kind of eye of the shoulder here, the corner of the shoulder. And we're going to lift hips for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let the arm come up straight above if that works for you. If not, just keep your arm where it was for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stay with this, or either one of those that we've done, or stack the legs and straighten the legs, and arms might be up or arm might be across the chest, and you might just hold that, make sure that your elbow's right under that shoulder in a comfortable way. Possible to dip down here as well for 4, 3, 2, 1 if you would like. And bring it down. Now bring your head into the crook of your elbow. Legs are straight out, stacked on top of each other. Hand is in front of the chest. And slowly lift that leg up, a side leg lift, and bring it down. And bring it up. And bring it down. Inhale it up. And exhale it down. And you can come back to that later if you would wish. We're going to turn over to the other side or turn your whole body, whichever you'd like. So on the other side here, with forearm under the shoulder, knees are gently bent. Hand comes across the chest, soft fist to the inner shoulder, and lifting the hips for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hand might rise, your choice here, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Legs straight out if you choose, or stay with the bent knees into a side plank of your choice, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Then let your head come down into the crook of the elbow. Take a moment to breathe. And then we're going to lift that leg for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And bring it down. Sorry, I have an acid reflux problem. It makes me cough. Sometimes I cough. We're going to come into a prone position. So coming down on your stomachs and lying long. And for a moment, let your cheek come on to the back of your hands and just rest down. Feeling your whole current of creation, this body that you live in, coming together with the currents all around you, beneath you, the currents of the earth, that iron deep in the middle of the earth, connection with iron right in your bloodstream. Iron that came to us from the stars, galaxies. Amazing connections. Now bring one arm underneath the chin or the head, and bring the other hand back to the glutes. So I'm just putting my middle finger, or my middle 3 fingers right there in the middle of the right glute. And then I'm lifting the whole leg, just an inch or 2. So lift the whole leg, feeling the glute, see if it is engaging. If you don't feel much engagement, you might bend the knee of that right leg and lift from the hip to the knee. Do you feel engagement through that glute? And then we'll do the other side. So now the right arm is under head or chin. Left fingers come back. Middle of the glute. And lifting that leg just an inch or so, slowly. Testing if you feel some engagement there. If you don't feel much, you might be compensating by using other muscles. And so then you can bend the knee and just lift a little bit, and you might feel a little more engagement. Now bring the hands underneath the shoulders, elbows are bent along the sides. Head and shoulders rise. Top of the feet are down towards the mat, pressing down. Legs are engaged. Engage up through the hips, the glutes, and around the hips. And then raise up just as far as is comfortable and possible. Head and shoulders and muscles of the back and abdomen and etc. doing the work here. River of power flowing here. And then let it come down. Then once again, pressing feet in, engaging through the legs, up through the hips, lifting head and shoulders, arms come out. The fingers are pointing back and they're wide, as if you're a flock of geese going through the sky. Palms are out to the side and thumbs are up. Head and shoulders are raised slightly. Feel the posterior chain of muscles engaged throughout the body. And eyes are just natural. There's no lift up with the chin or anything. Just let them be on the mat or just in front of the mat. And bring it down. Come up into Sphinx pose. So my forearms are underneath the shoulders. Let one knee bend. So I turn slightly towards that one side, and that knee slides up to the side, bent like an iguana. And you might be bent at the knee, the hip, and the ankle. And then bring it back down, turning towards the mat, then turning a bit towards that side as the leg comes up. If this doesn't work for you, just back off and relax. Doesn't work for everybody because we are not iguanas, as it turns out. And then coming back to neutral, and we'll do the other side. So turning slightly towards that side as the knee comes up, bent, ankle, hip, and knee bent. And then bring it back, turn slightly, bring it up, and back. And so I'm just to the side. The knee is right at the level of the hip, and back. That didn't work for you, that's fine. That is fine. Now we're still in the Sphinx pose. Imagine there is an ant on your mat, a little ant that is crawling back towards you, and your eyes follow it as your chin comes back towards the chest. Then you follow the ant forward across the floor and up the wall little ways, just to a comfortable place with the neck. And then it comes back down, you follow that ant down the wall, across the floor, towards your chest. Chin comes to chest. Keep following the ant, just slowly, back and forth. Today our Radiance Sutra says, follow the gentle touch of life. Soft as the footprint of an ant. Tiny sensations opening to vastness. Now we're going to bring the right forearm underneath the shoulders. Left knee bends. Then stretch back from the hip through the knee. Just stretching back there, feeling some opening perhaps in the front of the hip and back towards the knee. If it's available to you, hand can come back, take a bit of clothing or ankle or foot. Foot might push into hand and hand into foot as the knee comes back and stretches back from the hip, maybe lifts just slightly. You get a stretch and an opening through the front of the hip. Or just let the hand yearn back, it just can be back there and not touching anything. Now the left forearm comes under the shoulders, right knee bends, stretch back from hip, back through the knee, relaxing through the back of the thigh and the shin and the calves. And then possibility of just hand reaching back or getting some clothing or getting ankle or foot. And again, stretching back from hip, back through the knee. Release, come up into a tabletop. And let's tilt our hips. So the whole pelvic bowl tilts up and down. So when it's down, the bottom is coming up and the top of the sacrum is as if you were spilling down onto the mat. So just the hips, tilting forward and tilting back. Feeling that, let that ripple up into the spine so that the thoracic spine starts to take part in what we recognize as a cat-cow. And maybe the chin comes in towards the chest. However, let the sacrum tilt be the root of the flow this time, that tilt of the sacrum. One last time. Coming back through neutral, the hips on the left side come out a little bit to the side, and the chin and shoulder on that side come back a little ways. So this is a kind of side bend or side squeeze, but it's very subtle. And then come back to neutral. Then chin and shoulders coming back and down a little bit, hips going out to the side a little bit as you squeeze the side. And one more time, head and shoulder, chin and shoulder back, and the hip out to the side a bit as you squeeze. And then the other side, so the hips go over to the other side just slightly, shoulder and chin go back towards that hip, squeezing the side together. And together. Relax. And squeeze the side. And bring it back. Now bring the hips back, hovering over the heels or the calves, and let them come down a little bit on one side, up over, and down on the other side. So they don't go down to the mat, they just go down little ways. Bring the mind's eye again to that hip socket, feeling it, judging what's a wise thing to do here, getting to know the body, particularly the hip joints, just a little bit better today. One more time to each side. Then coming back through center into tabletop, left leg lifts up. So this is a hydrant, just like we did in junior high or middle school or high school. Bring it up once again, bring it down, bring it up, and bring it down. It rises once again, the knee comes towards the elbow, the leg stretches back, and then crosses over. So you've got a long leg here and back, crossing over. Then eyes are going to come around to gaze back at that foot. So you're opening on the side away from, on the side of the foot that is active, that is back there, of that hip. And hopefully you'll feel a nice stretch along that left side of your body. Return the knee towards the elbow, stretch out long, cross over, look around to your right, towards the left toe. Then bring that knee back underneath the hip. Raise it up and bring it forward slowly. So I'm making a kind of slow, big circle, only forward with that hip joint. Very slowly, just kind of letting the muscles get to know each other there. Now once more, raise that knee, bring it towards the elbow. Stretch it back long. It crosses over, but this time eyes stay towards the mat. The pinky side of the foot, it's crossed over, and it's just about an inch above the foot, above the floor. So the pinky just an inch above the floor. And this is a good strengthener for the side of the hips. We're taking a breath here. Now bring that leg so that the knee comes in behind the other knee. So that leg kind of tucks in. It's crossed over and it tucks in behind that other knee. Then bring your hips back. So just a little stretch with one knee tucked in behind the other knee. Both knees are on the mat, but one is crossed over and a bit behind the other one. And then the hips come back slightly. A little stretch through the hips. And then bring it back to tabletop, and we'll do the other side. The right leg comes up and down, and up, and down in hydrant, and up and down. Now bring it up, bring it towards the elbow, long through that leg, cross over in the back, gaze goes back, so I'm gazing around to the left side, looking at the right foot. Then returning that knee, the right knee up towards the elbow, stretching back, crossing over, gazing back. Let the mind's eye come to the hip, that side of the body. What's the feeling there? Then we're going to come up with, just bring the knee back to tabletop, then lift it up in hydrant once again, and a slow circle coming forward. So coming back a bit and forward. I'll show you on this side so you can see it better. Just a slow circle there. One more time. Then that knee raises once again in hydrant, comes towards the elbow, stretches back, crosses over. This time the pinky comes towards the floor and the foot hovers about an inch above the floor, giving some time for that muscle on the side of the hip to engage. It's subtle, but there is a flow of power there. Then bend that knee of the right leg that's stretched back and bring it just behind and inside the front knee, and then stretch back with the hips. So bringing the hips back. One knee is in behind the other. And come forward. Tuck the toes, bring the hands back. Come back onto the balls of the feet. Press up through the hands, hips rise, hands come to shins. Press on the shins, long from the hips up through the crown. Bend the knees, belly onto the thighs, arms come wide. Gaze and chest forward as you rise up. And hands come up overhead. One more time, dangling down. Hands come to shins, pressing into the shins, long through the spine, long through the back of the neck. Hips come out to the back, belly comes to the thigh, and open up the arms. Gaze is forward as you come up. Here we are standing. And we're going to make our way into our chairs here for the last part of our practice. It helps with the hips so much to not have the weight of the body on them. So we can do so much when we're lying down and we're prone, and then here again in the chairs. So bring your hips up to the front of the chairs a bit. And let your either ankle come up onto the thigh towards the knee of the other leg. Just relaxing through the hip joint here. Knee can come up a little bit in front of the chest, and then a very slight pressure open. So we don't want to overstrain it, but just a movement here up towards the chest. And then slight pressure just to very gradually increase the range of motion in the hip joint, but not to ask for too much too soon. It takes months and years. And then we'll try the other side. Notice any difference between them. I definitely have one hip that's tighter than the other. Feeling the opening in the hip joint, and then bringing that knee towards the chest. And opening in the hip joint. So most people are a little bit tight, and very gradually we want to open. Some people have too much hyper flexion, and so they don't want to let too much flexion happen in the hips. That also can be a difficulty. So many things to consider in our bodies. Then bring both feet to the ground. Bring a hand on one knee, bring that knee up, bring it open and down, back to center. Lift the knee, open it up, down, and back to center. 2 more times, just experimenting with that knee, a little bit of self-diagnosis. What's that feel like in the knee? How far out should my knee go? 1 more time. Finding just the right range of motion for today. And then the other side, lifting that knee up and around and back and up and around and back. 1 more time. And bring it down. Now the feet are on the floor. I'm going to lift one foot, just hovering it about 1 inch above the floor, and then opening my hip and bringing it over. Then lifting just 1 inch above the floor and coming back and planting it down in front. So it's just this movement, a hovering, just 1 inch above the floor as you come across. Great for strengthening the quadricep muscle, as well as opening the hip. And one last time. And the other side, lifting that foot in front just 1 inch or so, opening up in the hip, planting the foot down, and then lifting again and bringing it back. And you can always synchronize the breath, inhaling as it comes across, exhaling it down. Inhale with a slight lift and across, exhale down, inhale back to the center. Now let's do a side bend. These work really well on chairs. We can bring one hand to the side of the chair, other arm lifts up, become long from the hips up through the body, up into the fingertips, and then keeping length in the spine, come over. So it's not that we come so far over, but that we come over, stretch through the armpit, stretch actually through the hip as well, but keep some length through the spine. Bring that hand down, other arm comes up and over, feeling the opening in the side of the hip, up through the armpit, and some opening here in the side of the ribs here under the armpit as well. Bring it down, stretch up on the other side, and over. Bring it down, inhale up, and exhale. Nice opening on the lateral aspect of the body, and coming back. Chairs are also good to twist in. We can bring a hand across to the thigh or to the chair on the other side. Other hand can go back to the side or the back of the chair. Now the risk here is that you twist too much. So remember that lumbar spine in the hips does not want to rotate too much. So bring yourself forward on your sits bones. Inhale up. Exhale round through lower ribs, then inhale up, exhale round through upper ribs, inhale up, and exhale round through chin, just to about 70% of what you could do. But you can tell you can get a really nice stretch here, a nice spiral in the spine in a chair position. Then coming around, bringing the other hand to the opposite side of the chair, other hand back behind somewhere in the chair, forward on the sits bones, long through the spine, and then that gradual turning through lower ribs, upper ribs, and chin. We want to spiral the spine, but we don't want to over spiral the spine. Breathing up and down the spine one more time. And come back through middle. Now let's bring ourselves over to the side of the chair, and my one hip is on the chair, the other hip is hanging off the chair. I'm going to bring that foot of the leg hanging off the chair back. I'm tucking my toes, and the knee goes down straight towards the floor. And this front foot is planted flat underneath the knee on the front foot there. And we get just a nice opening, right, through the front of the body, the front of the hip, and down through the quad. Nice opening in the foot as well as we tuck our toes. Letting that go, bringing it back, shifting yourself over to the other side of the chair so that the other hip is on the chair, opposite hip is open now with the toe tucked back behind. Lifting up from knee, up through hip, up through shoulder. Little tuck in the chin, long through the back of the neck, up through the crown. Release that. Come back onto the chair. This time we're going to turn to the side. So now let's have your, just for ease, the left hip, if you could, have the left hip on the chair. And the right hip is hanging off the chair, the front of the chair. That leg is the one that goes back, so the right foot is back, toes tucked. And the left foot is ankle right under that knee. So you're in really a warrior two position. You bring the hands out to the sides, palms up, bring the palms up overhead, touch fingers overhead. A thought to the sun in this half a sun breath, reaching out through the fingers, coming down to shoulder level, and then turning the palms down and reaching out once again. Bring the hands down. And now we're going to turn towards the back of the chair. Lift up through the spine and then spiral with the shoulders and the ribs back away. So here's another way to get a little bit of a different twist. Release the hands. Bring the right hand to the back of the sacrum, heel of the hand on the top of the sacrum and fingers coming down. Other arm reaches up and over, and just a slight twist as your gaze goes back just a little bit, kind of I call it an arabesque twist, with that hand up overhead. Bring that back. Keep the hand back behind the sacrum, right hand behind the right sacrum side, and then the other hand comes into a cactus. So left arm is in a cactus, and we're going to open from the pubic bone up through the collarbone into a back bend, shoulder blades squeezing together, opening up, keeping long through the spine, no hinging in the back of the waist or the back of the neck. And bring it up. And we'll do that same on the other side. So coming into a kind of warrior two with now the right hip on the chair and the left leg back with a tucked toe. And in this warrior two pose, bringing the hands out wide, palms are up, slowly rising up with the hands and arms, touching overhead, reaching out to the sides once again, turning the palms down, reaching out through the fingers, and bringing the hands down. Then we're going to bring the hands to the back of the chair. The lumbar spine, the hips stay set, long through the spine, and then turning in the lower ribs and the upper ribs. And it's real easy to turn the cervical spine here, right? Release and come around. Hand comes to the back of the sacrum. That's the left hand. The right hand is going to come up and over the head in a kind of arabesque with a little gaze back. Come back. Come into a cactus on this with the right arm. Left hand is still behind the sacrum. Shoulder blades are squeezing together. The glute on this back leg is active, and you're opening up through the front of the body. But the advantage of the chair here is that your legs and hips don't have to bear all the weight, right? And bring it back and come back through center. Let's just settle. No, let's get up from the chair and put the chair aside. And just a gentle Qigong movement to end with here today as we let the tides pull us in and pull us out. So feet are a little wider than hip width apart. Weight is in the left foot, right foot goes forward towards the opposite corner. Knees are just slightly bent, and the weight is in the back foot. The hands start here at the waist with soft fists as they come around the side, and then the palms turn over, the weight comes forward into the front foot. Feel the surface of the water as you come around under your hands. Turn the hands and let the tides pull you back, weight coming to the back foot, around to the sides. Can you feel the slight tension of the water pulling you out and pushing in? The current of creation all around us and within us. And let's switch feet. Weight comes on to the right foot, left foot comes forward. Weight comes forward, feeling the water underneath your fingers and the push of the tide back. Celebrate the boundary where streams join the sea, where body meets infinity. One more time. And bring it back. Bring the feet together, hands to the heart. This week, as we breathe, as we listen to fireworks, as we move, we can be part of the rivers of power flowing everywhere. This incredible current of creation. Namaste. Thank you for your practice.
Namaste, Nancy.